east praying for peace, but I'm playing for keeps. Well, lies beneath my beliefs, I'm deep when I'm unleashed. I dwell alone, study words on tablets made of stone. An everlasting covenant that bring peace to my home. Goodness and mercy follow me all the days of my life. Wages of sin and costly had me paying the price. Nightmares antagonize me nightly, they replace my dreams. Yom Kippurim annually, it had me on my knees. Broken systems that can hold no water. Found my bros and sisters guilty and my sons and daughters. Long suffering and plenty is some mercy. No, I'm not worthy, but I'm blessed. How can the nations curse me? How goodly are thy tinsel, Jacob? The lost sheep in a deep sleep this morning, and we finna wake up. We point a weapon out of ox and give me all the lechem. Tell bearing gossip, turn around and say shalom aleichem. Let's readdress our GPS, we in the wrong direction. Redirect your finger pointing to your own confessions. That's right. We were chosen for vessels. It's Jehovah who bless you. Don't think you're special and forget you sold Joseph for shekels. So for 20 shekels, feed by 10 plagues. We could be amongst the dead instead. Stay on point and in the temple like Yael's 10 peg. Now that's a bar. Let Daniel be your avatar and practice faith in Yah and watch how far it carry y'all. We eat the king's food, swan, lobster, caviar, but we won't lose the moon and stand still, Valley of Ajalon. Then Joshua spoke to the Lord on the day when the Lord delivered the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, sun stand still upon Gibeon, and you moon in the valley of Ajalon. Joshua chapter 10
wandered
verse 12.
aimlessly till we obtained our salvation. The wilderness was the womb that gave birth to our nation. We don't run from no demon, they just follow you, so we face them. Survived against perilous odds remains in our nation. We wandered aimlessly till we obtained salvation. The wilderness was the womb that gave birth to our nation. We don't run from no demons, they just follow you, so we face them. Survived against perilous odds remains in our nature. Like in the day the sun and the moon stood still. Continuation of righteous skills. Atmospheric phenomenon occurred at our will. Lit it to fill with corpses of the enemy. Till this day it remains a mystery, unsolved anomaly. It ain't no secret why they can't figure us out. I be trying to tilt cause heart rocks crumble when I decide to shout. No way out of your feeble fortress cause it's decimated. Being oppressed, it's not the norm, I can't get acclimated. It ain't my custom to accept defeat. So martyrdom is more appealing. Fear don't exist cause it's for the weak. I raise the heat at the peak of the day, interrupting solar and lunar rotation to further cause dismay. Why you don't my shemish? Why ya react amada yikon goy avabiki bon ayalone. History rich is written in stone, but we poor minded. Somewhere along the line we lost purpose, we gotta find it. And if that means death for freedom, then I don't mind it. Don't play hide and seek with yourself, call that selective blindness. Walking around mindless, absolutely moronic. Rather entertain foolishness and cluelessness, and it's ironic. Demonic practices became the norm. Everybody witches and warlock, but can't seem to stop the storm. Meteorologists, scientists, and biologists can't predict the level of carnage coming, cause they powerless. Ain't no accumulated arms or nuclear bombs able to change the outcome of prophecy. I'm trying to warn them, take it as scorning, call it whatever you want it. It's a known fact, nation don't survive after they harmed us.
And Joshua spoke to the Lord on the day when the Lord delivered the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, sun stand still upon Gibeon, and you moon in the valley of Ajalon. Joshua chapter 10 verse 12.
We wandered aimlessly till we obtained our salvation. The wilderness was the womb that gave birth to our nation. We don't run from no demons, they just follow you, so we face them. Survived against perilous odds remains in our nature. Wandering aimlessly till we obtained our salvation. The wilderness was the womb that gave birth to our nation. We don't run from no demons, they just follow you, so we face them. Survived against perilous odds remains in our nature.
Yeah. Valley of Ajalon, Maureen, Shah, Ben Mishael David, 11 Music Entertainment, bars are back. Yeah.
Shalom, shalom. How's everybody doing? What you just heard is from my brother and friend Shamaya Ben Lewi, and see the brother is online with the word blessings. By the way, the Hebrew word for blessings is barakot, from the word barakah, which means blessing, from the word barak, which means to bless, and the word berek means knee, also meaning to bow down. So by bowing down in Hebraic culture is a blessing. We want to sit there, brothers and sisters, if we will, get into this kind of matter as far as it gets into the matter of Hebrew in the tribe of Dan. We ask you all to comment, like, share, and subscribe. All right, we're going to play another song, and then we're going to get into the actual lesson itself. All right, thank you for that. But again, the song that you heard was put together by my brothers, Shemaiah Ben Lewi and a brother named Yaya, who both whom I known for over 20 years easy, and so forth and so on. So just definitely want to promote the Israelite music out there to the people. You can sit there and go, brothers and sisters, and go to YouTube, if you will, right? And type, sorry about that, type Black Fringes. Now, some of the songs in there stood out to me, but all of the songs in there are nice. There's no whack song, there's no dumb song, there's no ignorant song, there's no garbage song on any of any songs on the album. But two of them or three of them stood out to me the most. So I asked for permission to be able to sit there and promote it, and was granted. So just want to point that out in that case. We're going to, as stated, play another song and then get into the presentation. In this presentation, we're going to ask you to get your pens. You're going to ask you to get your pens, your pads, your paper, and to take notes. All right? That's what we want to do in this case. All right? Get your pens, your pads, your paper, and take notes. Thank you. Let's play this song here. This one we're going to play is written, may he rest in peace, by the elder Adon Dawid, and there's some pictures in it that may be useful for some. All right. The name of the song is called Yisrael. Thank you.
There's a land over there, across the water. There's a land too long. We've been away too long. Israel, we've been away too long. Yeah, we've been away too long.
All righty. Shalom. Hopefully, again, everybody is well and will be better. We are going to get started in the presentation now. Thank you for joining on with us, family. We're going to, brothers and sisters, do the matter of presents here. Share screen, if we will. All righty. And going to go here. Pull this up this way. Thank you for that. And brothers and sisters, you are encouraged, if you care to have it to where you will take screenshots of the slides as we go through it. And you happen to have any questions, you are also encouraged and welcome, brothers and sisters, to ask the questions inside of the chat. In this presentation, we are on the platforms Mora Yeshaya Torah lessons, Mora Yeshaya history lessons, and Mora Yeshaya Hebrew lessons. This presentation, brothers and sisters, for more than one reason, is not linked, excuse me, to the matter of Facebook. All right. So I just want to point that out in that particular case. Even though I put it from my YouTube on Facebook, it's not on a Facebook link itself. All right. So looking at that in that particular case. Now, what is the point in part and in true with this? A teaching that's going around or has gone around for quite some time, that the tribe of Dan or the tribe of Dan is destroyed, which is a fallacy, which is something that's not true. We're going to go into the Hebrew. We're going to go into maps. We're going to go into the scriptures. Excuse me. And this is why it's on the different platforms. We're going to go into Genesis. Thus is into the matter of Mora Yeshaya Torah lessons. We're going to go into Hebrew. Thus Mora Yeshaya Hebrew lessons. And we're going to go into history. Thus Mora Yeshaya history lessons. And that's why it's on these three different platforms, say, in that particular case. All righty. We ask you all to comment, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I want to, on a human level, give due respect, brothers and sisters, to my teachers who have passed away. Mori Yosef, Adon Yishai, Mori Mishael, Chi Simeon, Mori Hosea, Mori Tibak, Adon Aharon. May all of those people whom I've mentioned rest in peace. May my father, who was not in this understanding of being Israel, but I gave the respect and pin named the history books in his honor. Frank Hutchison was his name, but we deal with the middle name, so I sit there and put it a matter of it being a matter of Vincent Hutchinson to give one that honor in that particular case. My mother, may she rest in peace as well, came into this understanding when she was in her 30s, and I was a baby at the time. The very first time I was brought out to a congregation that was kosher, which was located in the Bronx, back in December of 1982. All right, and it was for a Hanukkah party. And as time went on, I wound up staying in kosher because Ima, she stayed in kosher, and then we left and went to a place called Beni Adat. And in there, may he rest in peace, Mordechai Hosea is the one who showed me how to write Ibrit Atik. That's to say ancient Hebrew writing, or some refer to it as the Paleo writing, and so on. And it was in that place there I wound up getting the courage to know how to sit there and read Hebrew and do in part public speaking in the language itself. Now, when I got into a congregation called Hashaba Yisrael, brothers and sisters, wanting to point that out for reference purposes is when, and I'm going to take the liberty to give a brother the shout out. His name is Akwedmiel Menashe. And he said, when you're doing public speaking, just look straight ahead of you. In a movie, American Gangster, they pointed out that public speaking is one of the hardest things that people to do, or one of the hardest things for people to do. Or so, but I found being called by, may he rest in peace now, Cohen Levy, to read the 8th proverb and taking the advice that I had from the brother Akwedmiel and already reading Proverbs under the tutelage of Mori Yosef from before I even went to Shaba, it was easier to sit there and have that in that particular case. The men whom I'm speaking of promoted a young man to become a teacher, to want to keep on studying, to want to sit there and not have one under, say, one's thumb, and you must stay under my tutelage perpetually. These men who I mentioned, even my parents, may they rest in peace. They're deceased. So now if I were to stay under that tutelage, then where will I be? You understand? Where will we be if that be the case, and so forth and so on? Where will you be if that be the case, and so forth and so on? So it's one thing to sit there and give respect. It's another thing in Israel that we don't do. It's called ancestral worship. We don't worship the fathers or the ancestors, if you will. You understand? We give them the respect, and we put things in writing to the best of our ability to sit there and have it passed on and on from generation to generation. You understand? We're making monumental strides in that particular case. So, brothers and sisters, if we can, let's get into this. Giving honor to the creator of heaven and earth, this presentation is brought to you by Danitepublications. Please, we ask you to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Now, earlier in the other presentation, a brother explained, being a YouTuber, why us who do streaming on YouTube, why you might hear subscribe and like, comment, like, and share. Because the more that is, the more YouTube promotes and pushes items out there to the people. You understand? We can be reached by email, yyisrael22@yahoo.com. All right. So if there's any questions or comments, please feel free to put it into the chat. Thank you for coming back. When it says we back, thank you for that. Shalom to Bergen Paris. Shalom to Shamar and Williams. Shalom to Shemaiah Lewi. Shalom to Magneto Black. Shalom to everybody else in the chat now and who will be. Thank you for participating. If you can, if you hear me well and you're in good spirits, please type in the number 4. If you can hear me well and you're in good spirits, please, I ask you to type in the number 4. Thank you for that. Now, as is the custom on this platform, we are going to attempt to promise to not be long. That is an attempt. All right. Thank you for that, Brother Paris. Join us as we get into the matter of the tribe of Dan from the scriptural and Hebraic matter. Was the tribe of Dan destroyed? Question mark. The answer is no. I am open to constructive criticism and hope you all can offer it. I take the platform, Danitepublications.com, which is actually a website. Danitepublications.com, brothers and sisters, is actually a website. All right. Shalom, Sister Mariska Parker. Thank you for typing that in. And what do I mean? Not trying to talk business, though it is after Shabbat. What do I mean when I say invest in it? I'm on StreamYard. I have to pay for that. I pay people to make the flyers that you see there on the left-hand side. I pay for the books that I sit there and use as a citation. The time that goes into it, I don't get back. When I say the time, I'm talking about being able to put it together. This is when you come from the heart, and it's not to toot one's own horn, but you don't miss that because you know the purpose in such. You know the reasoning in such. You understand? Look and say upon it in that particular case, right? I apologize for tardiness in presentations over the course of years and never want to be known as a time waster. There were times, sadly, in which I've actually sent the link out to brothers and sisters, to elders, and then I had to wind up canceling it. So some who may have been waiting for it is like, yo, that channel is trash. That brother don't come through. He sits there and has the people sitting up there waiting. You don't want to be known as a time waster. Nobody has any time to waste. And this is why, not to beat a dead horse, I never understood why a former friend gave back a donation. Who gives back a donation? But this is not to get sidetracked. You understand what I mean? If it's something from the heart, then that makes no sense. But in light of that kind of matter, and if you donate in your own time to spread the word of the Most High in truth, as pointed out before, no angel came to me, no dream, no prophet, or so forth and so on. It was a straight matter of wanting to do this as a free will matter in that particular case. And being that, as it says in Leviticus, anything that you dedicate to the Most High has become holy. That's in the Tanakh, that's in the Torah, that's in Leviticus. You understand? So if that's the case, then you definitely want to come as correct as possible. I can be reached at 908-587-4841. Thank you. In Genesis chapter 30, we see the following, brothers and sisters. And Bilhah conceived and bore Jacob a son. And Rachel said, God have judged me, and have also heard my voice, and have given me a son. Therefore, she called his name Dan. Now, brothers and sisters, we remember, right? Excuse me, that Hebrew is read from right to left. So let's look. Watahar Bilhah. Wateled Yaakov Bain. Now, pardon me, brothers and sisters. Thank you for that. Just want to deal with something real quick, if we will. Let's continue in this matter. I wanted to cough, but I didn't want to do all of that on a sound thing in that manner. Remember, brothers and sisters, that Hebrew is read from right to left, right? So now when we look at this right here, if we look at the laser pointer, it says what? Watahar Bilhah, and Bilhah she conceived. Now, we pointed out in the past about the wild consecutive or the wild hakipuk. In biblical matters, what that means is a normal future tense word is put in the past tense, and the normal past tense word is put into the future tense. So the word tahar, brothers and sisters, is not to be confused with the other word sounding like tahar, which means to clean. Brothers and sisters, actually comes from the word hara, which means to conceive. The hey that normally would have been after the resh is dropped off. That tau, as we pointed out in the previous presentation, signifies the feminine presence or the feminine principle. So now, Watahar Bilhah can literally be translated as, and Bilhah she conceived. But you don't always see that she or the pronoun inside of the English. All right? So I want to point that out. Watahar Bilhah, and Bilhah she conceived, Wateled, and she gave birth, and she bore Yaakov unto Jacob Bain, a son. More power to women giving birth. That's much respect. And Rachel said, God have judged me, and have also heard my voice, and have given me a son. Therefore called she his name Dan. Watomer Raquel, Danani Elohim, Wagam, Shama Bekwoli, Wayitin Li Bain, Al Kain Quad'a Shemo Dan. Now, brothers and sisters, remembering that Hebrew is read from right to left, right? We look at this. Watomer, that comes from, brothers and sisters, the root word amar, which means to say. So that tomer, that tau that we see right here, brothers and sisters, that signifies again the feminine matter. Wah, this wild consecutive. And also making this future tense word into a past tense. That's why it says the word said, as opposed to will say. Watomer Raquel, and Rachel, she said, Danani Elohim. Now, brothers and sisters, Elohim is in this case the noun, meaning God, right? Dana or Dan means to judge. So Dan Elohim, God judge. God Danani. Danani means he judged me. And who was he in this case? Elohim. So this is how you know too that ancient Israel knew, though it sounds like plural, Elohim, they knew that it was a singular matter. Why would God in Hebrew be said as Elohim, normally sounding in a plural matter when it's not? It's because it's the immensity of whom we're speaking of. Instead of saying El Gadol, a great God, as if there's other small gods, no, brothers and sisters, it's not. What it is, brothers and sisters, is Danani Elohim, God, he has judged me. Just as much as over here, Watahar Bilhah, and Bilhah she conceived, so could we say, looking at this here, Danani, he judged me. Who is he? Elohim, the Most High. Wagam, and also Shama Bekwoli, he heard my voice. Not Shamu, they heard, as if Elohim is plural. This is how you know the grammar in Hebrew is important. Do we happen to have any questions? We are on Mori Yeshaya history lessons, Mori Yeshaya Torah lessons, and Mori Yeshaya Hebrew lessons. Thank you. All on YouTube. Wayitanli, and he gave to me Bain, a son. Al Cain, therefore, Quara, she called she or she called. Quara means to call. Quara. Last time we went over the matter that the letter Hey, like the letter Tau, serves as the feminine principle. So Quara literally means he called. Quara literally means she called. Shemo, his name, Don. Therefore, she called his name Don. Don meaning he judged. All right, let's continue, family. Now, let's look at this right here. Because the people name their children based upon things that's going on. So now, when we see here in Genesis chapter 49, Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Now, I wanted to take a timeout. What do I mean? The song that you heard played earlier from the album Black Fringes, when they spoke about the valley of Ajalon, the land Ajalon is in the land of Dan. And speaking about the tribe of Dan in this presentation, I took the liberty to ask my brother, my friend Shemaiah, if I can use his song where he spoke about the valley of Ajalon in this particular presentation, which was played earlier. All right, you may want to go on YouTube and subscribe to the platform. The album is called Black Fringes. Let me type that in, giving my brother a credit in that particular case. All right, I'm gonna put it right here for you, though. All right, YouTube Black Fringes. That's how I found it. All right, so you want to go, I'm asking you, family, on YouTube and go to Black Fringes and subscribe to the platform there and see the songs in that particular case. All of them, again, being nice. All right. Now, Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Now, in the Hebrew, we see this looking, remember, Hebrew going from right to left. Dan Yadin Amo. Dan, he will judge his people. Now, this is the future tense. There's no while consecutive making that future tense into a past, as we've discussed in the other slide. All right, in this particular case, Dan Yadin, Dan, he will judge Amo, his people. Ka'akat, as one. Shipte, as one of the tribes of Israel. Shebet means tribe or branch. Shipte means branch of or tribe of Yisrael. And we already discussed when you go on more Yeshaya Torah lessons and you look at the prelude to the video there, the definition, the transliteration, and the translation of the word Yisrael. Why was he named Yisrael? What the name Yisrael means in spiritual matters and, brothers and sisters, in matters of literal translation. Israel is the transliteration of Yisrael. Yisrael does not mean Israel, just as much as Isaiah is the transliteration of Yeshaya. Yeshaya does not mean Isaiah. So just want to point that out. All right. Any questions or comments, please feel free, again, to put in the chat. Now, Dan Yadin, this Yadin word that you see here, brothers and sisters, in Hebrew is referred to as a ayin yod verb. An ayin yod verb is any verb that has the root letter yod as the second letter. So as you may be able to see while we on Mora Yeshaya Hebrew lessons, right? This word we see right here, Yadin, is an ayin, yod verb. Get the book, Hebrew is Easy, Volume 3. The book Hebrew is Easy, Volume 3 gets into the ayin yod verb and so on. All right, so you can get that book on Amazon. So these are things we care to bring out for reference purposes. Now, the word Yadin itself means he will judge. Do you know, brothers and sisters, that the word Dan also means avenge? So if that being the case, which it is, could we say that Dan will avenge as one of the tribes of Israel? Because the more popular word, not trying to play word for word in Hebrew, for judge is more so the word shapat or shafat. Like when you read in the Bible about the valley of Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat means the Most High will judge. We read that in Joel. So again, shapat or shafat more so means judge. Sidebar, historically, brothers and sisters, did you know that the people of Carthage that was sadly destroyed by Rome, did you know that the people of Carthage referred to their judges and their chiefs as shofet? Did you know that the Carthaginians' language was similar to that of the Hebrew language? Just want to point that out. All right. Let's continue, family. Thank you for that. Dan shall be a serpent in a way, a horned snake in a path, that bites the horse's heels, so that his rider falleth backward. Let's look at this Hebraically, if we will, family. All right, laser pointer. Yahi Dan, Nakash, Ale Derek, Shapipon, Ale Orak, Hano Shik, Ikbe Sus, Wayipo Rokbo Akor. Now we're getting into some Hebrew in this. Now I'm not trying to sound funny. The tribe of Dan did not speak English. We know that. But let's look at this, brothers and sisters, in this case right here. Yahi Dan. Now, where do we read the word Yahi? In Genesis chapter 1. Yahi or, let there be light. So when it says Yahi Dan, it's not more so saying Dan shall be a serpent, but it's more so saying let Dan be a serpent. Like cause it to be. Let this thing be. It's more so of a command form. Yahi or, be light. Yahi Dan, be Dan. And what is Dan to be in this case here? Genesis 49, letting the book speak. Nakash. The word Nakash means serpent. The word Nakash means enchanter. And it comes from, in verb, the word Nikesh. The word Nikesh, brothers and sisters, means one who guesses. Like, I guess this is this, and I guess this is that. So this is things we brothers and sisters care to point out for reference purposes. Yahi Dan Nakash Ale Derek. Ale meaning what? Brothers and sisters. On, about, concerning the matters of. Ale, Derek, or you might say Derek, sounding like English if you will, right? Derek meaning way or path. Shapipon Ale Orak, a horned serpent in, concerning, and about. Orak ha no shake. What does ha no shake means? Brothers and sisters, this hay, all right, Shalom, sister Kanaya. This hay that you see right here, brothers and sisters, where the laser pointer is, shows it. This is why we want to get into the Hebrew. Israel did not speak English. But I also want to say, Hebrew doesn't make you righteous. If anything, it makes you more accountable because you really have less of an excuse. Not trying to be funny. But don't think that because Hebrew is emphasized that a brother is saying Hebrew makes you better than someone else. No. But we pick Hebrew names. Anyone not trying to be disrespectful, whoever sent the brother a cash app, you see my government. Hutchinson, as you see on their books, comes from my dad's name. And giving him honor in that particular case. But if I go into a place and they start calling me that, I might, as Israel, I might feel away with that. We pick and we are given Hebrew names. You understand? So the fact that we choose Hebrew names for ourselves, let's not downplay the importance of Hebrew. Because if your birth name, just throwing it out there, was Peter, and you chose the name Daniel, meaning God is my judge, and say, hey, Pete, how you doing? Inside of a camp or online, when it's an Israelite-oriented matter, you may feel a way about that. So you may have Israelites, no offense, that would say, well, Hebrew is not commanded for us to know it, but yet you're walking with the title Moreh, which is Hebrew, meaning teacher. You're walking around with a Hebrew name that you was given or you accepted in it being given to you or you took for yourself. You didn't call yourself Moreh John. You didn't call yourself Gabarit Natasha. Just using that say as an example. You understand? We pick Hebrew names, so therefore let's not act like Hebrew is not important to us. All right? Let's look at this, brothers and sisters, in this case. Ha no shake. This ha means that or which. So that right there in that particular case. All right? The word orak meaning path or direction. Ha no shake, that bites. O a is the present tense matter. Is generally the past tense. And oa is generally the present tense as far as it goes in Hebrew. This verb here, nashak, nun shin kaf, or nun shin kaf so feet, means to bite. Not to be confused with the Hebrew word nashak, nun shin kuf, which means to kiss, kiss. So these are things, brothers and sisters, we care to point out, right? We have the word nashak, meaning, and then with a kaf so feet, meaning to bite, and nashak with a kuf, meaning to kiss in that particular case, right? That bites. Ikbe sus, the heels of, sus means horse. Wayifo, rokbo, and his rider, he will fall. The word to fall, F-A-L-L in Hebrew, comes from the pay noon verb nafal. This is why we suggest, brothers and sisters, getting Hebrews Easy Volume 3. The word napal, brothers and sisters, means to fall. So now when you go in Genesis and it's not translated per se about the Nephilim generally is understood to mean giants. But I have a question. If the Anakim were called giants, then how and why would the Nephilim also be called giants? Unless there's a different understanding of giant. If nafal in Hebrew means to fall, F-A-L-L, that's why you see the old English word here, falleth, right? Nephilim, you know, means what? The fallen ones. Who were the fallen ones? Who are the sons of the Most High going into the daughters of men in Genesis chapter 6? On this platform, we care to present it was not angels from the sky, from the heavens, coming down and having sex with human females. That's not what that was. What it was, brothers and sisters, is men that's supposed to be on the caliber of Aaron. Leviticus 21, the kind of wife that you're supposed to pick. The sons of God with the daughters of men were the Nephilim, men that fell from their status dealing with the common woman, if you will. You understand? The kind that you would not bring home to your imam. Your imam meaning your mother. You understand? So that way we can gain understanding in what we're talking about. It says in Genesis chapter 6, because man is also flesh, his days shall be 120 years. Because of what was going on with the sons of God that fell, thus becoming Nephilim, the fallen ones, in status, if you will, and the daughters of men. Why will human females dealing with angels from the sky, as some teach, and quote-unquote sexual activity, cause human males, or according to that understanding, who are not guilty of those kind of acts, have their days shortened from a God that's just? If the sons of God going into the daughters of men in Genesis chapter 6, as some teach, is angels from the sky that came down on earth and was having sexual relations with human females, why would human males who have nothing to do with that particular action and that breakdown have to be punished from an Elohim who's Zadik, or from a God who is just? It's because man perhaps couldn't see that we were the ones, as Deuteronomy says, it is not his but his children that's the blemish. We didn't perhaps see that it was just us that fell off from the Most High. Animals don't, the sun don't, the moon don't. You was listening to the brother Shemaiah and the brother Yahya talking about in the song about the sun and the moon in the valley of Ajalon. The Most High controls the elements. Human beings, males and females alike, are the only ones who go against the Most High. As stated, animals do not. Somebody pointed out earlier on the platform with Moray Malkia Uriel, that animals, even if they attack each other, they know I'm not eating that. There's an order to certain things. The water, the galim, the word galim you see in the book of Jeremiah. It means waves. Gale Hayam, the waves of the sea don't go but so far. Job chapter 38 is where it says, where were you when I laid the foundations and commanded the waters that it don't go so far? And we worried about Trump. A man, a coward, who has to sit there and run and play golf because people who were in ICE detention centers are now getting in his behind verbally. And we are with Trump when we got the God that sits there and says the water don't go past this limit. Job chapter 38, when the nations talk about Pleiades and Orion and things of that kind of nature, speaking about the magnitude of the Most High God. I've been to Egypt. I've seen the Pyramid of Giza. Do you know that the Pyramid of Giza, and I've been inside of the tomb, or that is to say, not the tomb, but more so the Pyramid of Ma'akari of Dynasty 4. Miracles said in the Greek formation. I've been, and it is hot in Egypt, and it is hot. And when going into the pyramid, you got to go down, then up, and then when you go in, you got to go down and up. It's like two ways to go in dealing with that. The tour guide didn't even go like, nah, I'm going to stay up here. But brothers and sisters, the Pyramid of Giza and every other pyramid and the Sphinx are all on the earth that the Most High God made. Job chapter 26, I believe, is where it's at, is where the Bible says that the earth hangs on nothing. That's power. Whether you say the earth is round, like a globe, whether you say the earth is flat, like a circle flat thing looking like a pizza, it hangs on nothing. That's power. But we, not to get sidetracked from this, are worried about a man named Trump, a liar, a crook, who's raising up brothers and sisters, his own people against him. What do I mean by that? Before the most, not playing prophet, before the Most High destroys something, he makes the wisdom of the people turn backward. You're so upset that you put another woman of color, we're not going to go so far with that, in order for him to sit there and win, because he could not sit there and defeat, for the lack of a better term, a white man. Why do I go all the way there in what I'm talking about? We need not sit back and worry about the quote, as it says in the scriptures, the fury of the oppressor. Where is such? When we're dealing with the Most High God. May he rest in peace. And I cited him in my book, Hebrew is Easy, Volume 5. Chief Naftali pointed out that when Reagan came into office, I'm sure there's elders who may be able to confirm I was too young at the time. I was born when Carter was coming out and Reagan was coming in. And they said, I remember Chief telling me years after I was born, I'm speaking about Chief Naftali, that Israelites were saying, oh gosh, Reagan is here, Pharaoh's in the house. But we forgot, I'm speaking in general, that the Most High God is the one that sits there and controls that. Do we think, as the brother Shemaiah pointed out earlier on the prayer line, shout out to Garek Kokavia and her husband, Sarnay Aman, who do the prayer lines early Shabbat morning, right? As I pointed out earlier. Reading was a crime. Black people were not reading in the Western Hemisphere for over, you ready? In general populace, in over 200 years. If you take 2025, 200 years ago was 1825, and it was a crime for us to read. Do you know that most black people generally did not know how to read until the 1870s and into the 1880s? And since that time, there was a person, Prophet Cherry in Chattanooga, Tennessee, who knew how to read Hebrew, Yiddish, and English, and was going around saying, we are the children of Israel. And then you had the people that came up after Prophet Cherry, Crowdy and others, in the Midwestern states teaching about us being the children of Israel. This is why Chicago in the Midwest has so many congregations, whether they Tanakh-based, Old Testament-based, or Bible-based, Old and New Testament-based, if you will. Israelite foundation and the knowledge of such did not come out of New York City. It came in the United States from the Midwest, from people whose parents were enslaved, but their children wound up knowing how to read. So if reading was a crime, which it was, certainly, brothers and sisters, if we came to that great knowledge in the past 200 years, defying their laws of don't teach a Negro how to read, why do we think the Most High who opened up our eyes is going to lose power with Trump in the House, a man who does not read, who does not know what he's presiding over? I spoke to the president of the Virgin Islands, not realizing that you're the president of St. John, St. Croix, and St. Thomas. But all you saw was a black man, so you sat there and said, no, that's his. You didn't even realize the power that you had in your first term. Why do I go, not quote unquote talking politics, but we need not fear what's going on in this particular case. When you hear, quote, black people saying that ain't our fight, it probably ain't. What we have to do is, as it says in the book of Jeremiah, for us to come together. Jeremiah 29. We in Babylon the second, Egypt the second, come together, O house of Yisrael. Build your families. Read Jeremiah 29 when you get the chance. That's what you do when you're in the lands of your captivity. Come together, don't do wrong by each other, and build and grow. So there's nothing wrong with supporting black businesses. There's nothing wrong with going online and going on YouTube, and I'm going to keep on bigging up my brother Shemaiah music. We played it earlier. Matter of fact, we see more people in the chat. Let me hear that song again, if I may. All right, not taking nothing away from this. We want to sit there and promote the brother's music again. Thank you for that. Let's look at this, if we will. Thank you.
Facing the east, praying for peace, but I'm playing for keeps. What lies beneath my beliefs? I'm deep when I'm unleashed. I dwell alone, study words on tablets made of stone. An everlasting covenant that bring peace to my home. Goodness and mercy follow me all the days of my life. Wages of sin and costly had me paying the price. Nightmares antagonize me nightly, they replace my dreams. Yom HaKippurim annually, it had me on my knees. Broken systems that can hold no water. Found my bros and sisters guilty and my sons and daughters. Long suffering and plenty, it's a mercy. No, I'm not worthy, but I'm blessed. How can the nations curse me? How goodly are thy tinsel, Jacob? The lost sheep in a deep sleep this morning, and we finna wake up. We point a weapon out of ox and give me all the lechem, tale-bearing gossip. Turn around and say shalom alechem. Let's readdress our GPS, we in the wrong direction. Redirect your finger pointing to your own confessions. That's right. We were chosen for vessels. It's Jehovah who bless you. Don't think you're special and forget you sold Joseph for shekels. So for 20 shekels, feed by 10 plagues. We could be amongst the dead instead. Stay on point and in the temple like Yael's 10 peg. Now that's a bar. Let Daniel be your avatar and practice faith in Yah and watch how far it carry y'all. We eat the king's food, swan, lobster, caviar, but we won't lose the moon and stand still, Valley of Ajalon. Then Joshua spoke to the Lord on the day when the Lord delivered the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, sun stand still upon Gibeon, and you moon in the valley of Ajalon. Joshua chapter 10
wandered
verse 12.
aimlessly till we obtained our salvation. The wilderness was the womb that gave birth to our nation. We don't run from no demon, they just follow you, so we face them. Survived against perilous odds remains in our nation. We wandered aimlessly till we obtained salvation. The wilderness was the womb that gave birth to our nation. We don't run from no demons, they just follow you, so we face them. Survived against perilous odds remains in our nature. Like in the day the sun and the moon stood still. Continuation of righteous kills. Atmospheric phenomenon occurred at our will. Littered the field with corpses of the enemy. Till this day it remains a mystery, unsolved anomaly. It ain't no secret why they can't figure us out. I be trying to chill cause hard rocks crumble when I decide to shout. No way out of your feeble fortress cause it's decimated. Being oppressed, it's not the norm, I can't get acclimated. It ain't my custom to accept defeat. So martyrdom is more appealing. Fear don't exist cause it's for the weak. I raise the heat at the peak of the day, interrupting solar and lunar rotation and further cause dismay. Why you don't my shemish? Why y'all react? Amadadi Kong, Goy Avabiki Bon, the Ayalon.
Glory in Israel!
In stone, but we poor minded. Somewhere along the line, we lost purpose, we gotta find it. And if that means death for freedom, then I don't mind it. Don't play hide and seek with yourself, call that selective blindness. Walking around mindless, absolutely moronic. Rather entertain foolishness and cluelessness. And it's ironic, demonic practices became the norm. Everybody witches and warlock, but can't seem to stop the storm. Meteorologists, scientists, and biologists can't predict the level of carnage coming, cause they're powerless. Ain't no accumulated arms or nuclear bombs able to change the outcome of prophecy. I'm trying to warn them, take it as scorning, call it whatever you want it. It's a known fact, nation don't survive after they harmed us.
And Joshua spoke to the Lord on the day when the Lord delivered the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, sun stand still upon Gibeon, and you moon in the valley of Ajalon. Joshua chapter 10 verse 12.
We wander aimlessly till we obtain our salvation. The wilderness was the womb that gave birth to our nation. We don't run for no demons, they just follow you, so we face them. Survived against perilous odds remains in our nature. Wandering aimlessly till we obtain our salvation. The wilderness was the womb that gave birth to our nation. We don't run for no demons, they just follow you, so we face them. Survived against perilous odds remains in our nature.
Yeah. Valley of Ajalon, Maureen, Shah, Ben Mishael David, 11 Music Entertainment, bars are back. Yeah.
Alrighty, who you heard again for those who just joined on is two different brothers. One of them named Shemaiah Lewi, the other named Yahya Ben Yisrael. I've known them for quite some time. Not to get too personal in their business, but most of the times when I do speak with the brother Yahya, for those who do know, it is not any English. Looking at it and say in that particular case. Now, again, we don't want to make the family feel away if you're not knowledgeable of Hebrew. We want to say that it's easier than many people may try to even think it is. All right. So let me try to convey it as this. I have family members, and I'm going to take the liberty to say that they in Winston, in North Carolina, right? And yo, how you say she look good? You would sit there and say, he doma yafa. She resembles prettiness. He yafa bomar'a. In appearance, she is beautiful. That's how you say that. And they also ask, not to be redundant on that, yo, how you say I'm a bust your... We're not doing that. There's no way to say that in that particular case, all right? There is no F word in Hebrew, cousin, extended family, online, offline, all right? So we want to sit there and state that in that particular case. But if you are into colors, say you're an artist, Edom is red, Shakor is black, Laban is white, whatever you're into is going to appeal to you. So learn that vocabulary first. If you're a driver, let's say you do Uber, Lyft kind of thing. You understand? You're going to want to know Mikonit is car, Rakob is road, Nihel means to lead, Niheg means to drive. You understand? So those things, those words and vocabulary like that is going to appeal to you more. All right. So yeah, when you get the time, go on YouTube and type in Black Fringes and support my brother and my friend Shemaiah, who makes good music and so forth and so on. All right. So just want to point that out. Now, brothers and sisters, we went over the Hebrew in this right here, but let's go back, if we will, into this. All right. Laser pointer. Wayifo rokbo. Rakab means to ride. Rok or rokab means rider, the noun. Rokbo. This O at the end over here serves as a, you guessed it, maybe a suffix. His rider. Sus means horse. Wayifol, Rokbo, and his rider fell, I'll call backward. What is this saying of Dan? Let Dan be, not Dan shall be, but just like Yehi ordered in Genesis, when it says let there be lights, this here says Yehi Dan, let Dan be, Nakash, Ale Derek. Let Dan be a serpent in the path concerning the ways of the way. That's what Ale means. Ale means on or about or concerning. All right. Shafifon Ale O Rak. Shafifon is a certain type of serpent or snake. And you know that is found in what they refer to as the Middle East. That's how you know that the people was talking about the animals that was around in their town. So America is not, brothers and sisters, where the land of Israel is, as some people have sadly taught. And we want to show that, brothers and sisters. We thank you for your time and so forth. So, as pointed out earlier, not wanting anyone to be a waste of time, let's get into this if we will. Akor in here means backward. All right, just want to point that out. Let's continue, family. I wait for that salvation, oh Yah. Lishuaka kwiwiti yode wahe. Yeshua, brothers and sisters, means salvation. Yeshuat, salvation of. Yeshuat ka. We've been pointing out that ka as a suffix means your whatever. Your in Old English is die. Kwiwiti from the word kwiwa or kwawe. Either or, kwiwa or kwawe, depends on what root you want to use. I'll explain that in a whole other lesson. This is a PL verb stem, brothers and sisters. And instead of saying katab ti, I wrote shamar ti, I observed yada ti, I knew. This one changed the format because it's a PL verb stem. We went over the he, feel, and the qual in the past. We're going to do a recap as well. But this one is the third of the 7 stems called the PL stem. Plus, it ends with the letter hey. For those who've been following, any verb in Hebrew that ends with the letter hey is referred to as a lamed hey verb. So the pattern of how you say it with the vowels changes. That's how you know Hebrew has the vowels. All right. The shawatka for your salvation, kwiwiti, I wait, I anticipated, I expected yod hey wah hey. Brothers and sisters, yod hey wah hey, he who was, he who will be. You might find Israelites saying Yahweh, Yahuwah, Yahovah, Yahuwah, Yahuwah, Yahweh. What does that tell us? Of all the Hebrew classes and all the Hebrew teachers, only the Most High is the dispenser of knowledge. In Ezekiel chapter 39, verse 7, is where the Most High said, in the future, he will let Israel know his name. That is why, perhaps without that prophecy happening, and mind you, Ezekiel 39 is about Israel going back home. You understand? That will be revealed to us. How it's said. Your knowledge of verbs does not get into how the name of the Most High is to be said. That knowledge is not there. That's why you might read in the scriptures when it says, your knowledge, O Most High, is too high. I cannot attain unto it. You understand? We know Shalom. We know Shalom. But are we to say Yahuwah or Yahweh? The Most High will let us know that. You understand? And it don't make you any less of a moray to sit there and state, we don't know, wait on the Most High. Remember, like the brother or elder put in there, Nehemiah, about what the people to do, citing also Jeremiah 29. Yeah, we already got a responsibility that we must sit there and handle. Let's continue, family. Now, Amos 8:14. Is the tribe of Dan destroyed? This is one of the citations that people try to use. When I first heard about this, brothers and sisters, I remember calling the people whom I respect. I'm not going to mention his name. He's not really on YouTube like that. He goes to the congregation of Shabbat Yisrael. but I'm not going to mention his name because I hardly speak to him now. And there's no drama, no disrespect. He's just very busy in life. And so I'm just going to say a person out of Hashaba gave me this breakdown or this explanation, because the elder said, don't say breakdown with the book. Just say expound upon or explain, but never break down. They that swear by the sin of Samaria, 1, and say, as thy God, O Dan, lives, 2, and as the way of Be'er Sheba lives, 3, even they shall fall and never rise up again. Now let's look at this Hebraically. Hanish ba'in, ha in this case means who or which. Nishba'in, you heard of already Be'er Sheba. Sheba means what? Swear or oath. Nishba'ani, I swear. A woman would say ani nishba'at, I swear. So if a man is saying I swear, he would say ani nishba. A female would say ani nishba'at, meaning I swear. All right, just want to put that out there. Any questions, please feel free to put it into the chat. All right. Hanishba'im, they who swear, those who swear, ba'ashmat, shomron. Ashmat comes from the word ashma, which comes from the word asham, which means shame, which means reproach. They who swear by the reproach or by the shame, which they translate here as the word sin, Shomron, Samaria, which was the capital during the time of King Omri and King Ahab of the northern kingdom of Israel, Wa Amru, and they have said, Chai Elohe Dan, as the God of Dan lives. Now, this God that is talking about, though capitalized in the English on the left side, is not talking about the Most High. This is talking about the idol that Jeroboam set up in there. And it said that it became a sin unto the people in 1 Kings chapter 12, for they went from Beit El, which is in Ephraim, all the way to Dan in the north to worship those idols that Jeroboam set up. You had Jeroboam, and about 5 or 6 kings later, you had King Ahab, who set up Samaria as the capital, right? Then it goes on to say, Wa hey Derek Be'er Sheba, and as the way of Be'er Sheba lives. Be'er Sheba, brothers and sisters, is not in the northern part of Israel, but of the southern part of Israel, where the tribe of Simeon lived within the tribe of Judah. Let's continue. Let's get Israel into the matter, all right? Let's talk about these tribes. Give me a like if you will. Comment, like, share, subscribe. I'm open to constructive criticism. What not flew, what lo yakumu old. We not flew. Remember, brothers and sisters, we went over this word here. Right? While you fold and you see falleth, that pre-noon verb, the noon drops out in the future tense when you conjugate it. We know conjugate is when you take a verb in the past, present, or future and work with it as such. So now when you say a pre-noon verb, such as nafal, because the Nephilim were not giants, the Anakim were, all right? When we look at here and we see when not flew, that wow serves as the wow consecutive, making the normal past tense word into the future tense. Not flew, they fell. What not flew, and they shall fall. Walo yakumu, and they shall not rise. Old again. In Israelite camps, when elders come, it's generally stated kumu. Kumu means rise. Yakumu means they will rise. So people have read this and not understanding what's going on, that Beersheba was a land, a place. Samaria was a place, and Dan was a place. You understand? People, and I say this in no disrespect, not knowing that, have stated that this is talking about the tribe of Dan falling and never rising up again. That's not what that says. You understand? And that, again, is something we want to and must point out for reference purposes. 1 second, family. I have to sit there and plug this up as I see in this particular manner. All right? don't want to sit there to go out the computer. You want to keep it charged for, as pointed out, references purposes. Thank you, family. Bear with me 1 second in that. Thank you. All right. So Amos 8:14 is used by the Israelite brothers that act. Shalom, Big Chief Prince Vision. Shalom to everybody else into the chat. Sometimes people have used Amos 8:14 as a catalyst or as a way to say that the tribe of Dan will fall and never rise up again. But that's not what Amos 8:14 is saying. All right, let's look at this. They that swear, it's already identifying whoever is guilty of these three things. 1, swearing by the sin of Samaria. 2, and saying, as thy God, it's not talking about the Most High in this case, O Dan lives, meaning the idol that Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, in 1 Kings chapter 12, put up inside the land of Dan, lives, and at the way of Beersheba lives. So those are three different lands. Samaria, the capital during the time of King Ahab. Dan, which was a land we're going to show as the presentation goes on, and Beersheba, which is located within the tribe of Simeon. But the tribe of Simeon in the book of Joshua is located within the land of Judah. Do you know people, and I say this in no disrespect, to promote the 12 tribe chart that goes around in circulation online and offline, will say that the book of Joshua is off? What is the difference when Israelites are taking their flyers and books and not using the Tanakh or the scriptures as the main authoritative focus? A brother in Israel has told me, not to shame nobody, that yes, the book of Joshua is off, but your 12 tribe chart that does not have, not to be funny, the tribe of Dan in it, and even though the children of Israel come from the land of Negroes called Chaldea, you got 3/4 of the people looking like Leave It to Beaver on the 12 tribe chart, talking about that's the tribe of Issachar. No, it is not. Judah and Issachar had the same mother and father. How are you saying that your 12 tribe chart having Judah as the Negroes and then Issachar as the Mexicans, but you're not even talking about the black Mexicans there that are under oppression from the other ones? Because, see, we want to go into this, brothers and sisters, for reference purposes. If we look at this here in this particular matter, right? Let's show something, if we will, and no disrespect intended, right? Did I get into the wrong one? Yes, I did. I'm going to show it in another presentation. Sorry about that. In the chart that many brothers have in Israel, sorry about that particular case, right? You have Issachar as saying that is the tribe in Mexico. Not the black ones, mind you. And you're saying Issachar and Judah having the same mother is Judah being the Negroes in the, say, United States. Here's a problem, no disrespect intended, with the 12 tribe chart, besides the fact that it doesn't have the tribe of Dan in it, as we've gone over before. And that's this. The theory is that the people taken in the Atlantic slave trade was only the tribe of Judah, the tribe of Levi or Levi, and the tribe of Benjamin. But there's a problem, because there were slave ships going to where you said Issachar is, from Western Africa as captives. So what tribe were those people from? If you're saying that the Brazilian people are the tribe of Asher, how then do you explain in historical context what happened with the people that was brought to Brazil? because most of the slave ships went to Brazil. The majority of the slave ships went to Brazil. But you're saying that it was the southern kingdom, namely Benjamin, Judah, and the Levites, that was brought from Western Africa over to the Atlantic, in the Atlantic slave trade to the West. We went over this in a presentation before about the 12-tribe chart, and it is not accurate biblically. And using your paperwork outside of the paperwork in the Bible or the scriptures, you come up with those kind of concepts. It depends on what level of importance you hold the scriptures. Do you hold the scriptures over the level of your teachers, which you're supposed to? If you're a true teacher, you would not mind that. Be teachable. Now, let's go in and expound upon this, as was pointed out in this. Dan is a lion's whelp that leapeth from Bashan. This is in Deuteronomy chapter 33. This is another citation without understanding that brothers who teach about that 12-tribe chart, brothers and sisters, are saying that the tribe of Dan leaped from Bashan and fell and died. I've heard people say that. The land Bashan is not in the land of Dan, by the way. It is in the land of Manasseh when you get into the scriptures itself. What it's saying is that just like the lion that leaped from Bashan, so is the tribe of Dan being a baby lion that does so. That is why, brothers and sisters, Danitepublications uses this logo. Jacob described Dan as the serpent, and Moses described Dan as the lion. So in Danitepublications, the reason why you see the serpent and the lion is in regards to Genesis 49 along with Deuteronomy 33. That's why that symbol is put there like that. All right, just for edification purposes. So let's continue, family. One person stated that the chart is basically following the way of the breastplate of Aaron is set up. This we know is not true. The breastplate of Aaron had the tribe of Dan. The chart, the 12-tribe chart that is in circulation, does not have Dan. Some stated that Dan is destroyed. Let's use understanding. The book of Amos 8:14, which we went over earlier, is speaking about those who are wicked of Israel, fallen and never rising again. Beersheba, Dan, and Samaria, all mentioned in Amos 8:14, brothers and sisters, are lands. One is in the north, the other in the center, and the other in the southern part of the land of Israel. The term from Dan to Beersheba is common in the scriptures, and it means from one end of the land of Israel in the north to the other. And you can see that in 1 Samuel 3, verse 20. So the term that you see in the scriptures called from Dan to Beersheba, we see that it's talking about geographically lands. Lands. Let's continue. Joshua 19 shows that Danites went to the northern part of the land of Israel for themselves and named it Dan after Dan, their father. Samaria became the capital of the northern tribes of Israel in the time of Ahab in 1 Kings chapter 16, as mentioned earlier. The land of Dan is mentioned in Joshua chapter 19, verse 47. The land of Beersheba is mentioned in Joshua 15, where the tribe of Simeon was. Then Simeon was absorbed within the tribe of Judah geographically. But some use the writings of others to show that Dan will be destroyed due to envy, Dan having over levy. That right there is just some foolishness that somebody done concocted, saying Dan was destroyed because Dan is envious of the tribe of the Levites. No. There is, if I may say, two things to point out, if we will. Dan going to Lashem and taking it in war is recorded in Judges 18 and in Joshua 19, which shows that the book that we have, in no offense, is redacted. As time went on, you add parts to it so that way the reader can be abreast on the current information. Kind of like a newspaper does on Thursday or Friday, you might say. Torah is not like that. The laws stay consistent. As history goes on, you'll find historical things in Chronicles you won't find in Kings. Because as time went on, other things didn't happen. So these are things we care to point out for reference purposes, right? The land of Dan is mentioned in Joshua chapter 19, verse 47. The northern kingdom of Israel fell before the timing of the prophet Jeremiah. Yet Dan is mentioned in Jeremiah chapter 4, saying a voice is heard as far as Dan. And that's in Jeremiah chapter 4. But Jeremiah began to prophesy after the northern kingdom of Israel fell. So were there Israelites still in the land after the kingdom fell in the northern tribes? Yes. In 2 Chronicles 30, when King Hezekiah was doing the Passover, shows that. In the book of Joshua 19, verse 40, we read, the seventh lot came out for the tribe of Dan, according to their families. The territory of its inheritance included Zorah, Eshteol, Ir-Shemesh, Sha'alabin, Ayajalon, Itla, Elon, Tina, Ekron, El Takwe, Gibeton, Baalat, Yehud, Bene Barak, Gat Rimon, Mi Yarkon, and Yakon on the border opposite Joppa. Where is Joppa? Is by where the Philistines were. Joppa, the land, is where Jonah went to when he didn't want to go to Assyria, trying to go to Tarshish. So the Danites were not that far from the Mediterranean Sea. So now in Judges chapter 5, when Deborah says, in Dan or Dan, why does he dwell in ships? According to many, and I cited in my book, part of the sea peoples in history were the Danites. Not all the sea peoples were Israelites. But there was a part of them, when you do the timeline, taking Judges chapter 5, where Deborah said, Ima Deborah in Judges 5, may she rest in peace, the teacher, the prophetess Deborah, and Dan, why does he dwell in ships? There's a reason why we say what we say, historically. When the territory of the Danites was too straight for them, the Danites went up and fought against Leshem, and after capturing it, putting it to the sword, they took possession of and settled in it, calling Leshem Dan after Dan their father. This is the inheritance of the tribe of Dan according to their families, these towns with their villages. Brothers and sisters, we want to show this map right here, if we will, right? Laser pointer. So you had Dan that was here. We want to show with a pen too, perhaps. Dan here, circled. Dan here, circled. The original tribe of, well, the tribe of Dan, their original land was here, as we see. They eventually went and took this land here, north of Naphtali. Care to point that out for reference purposes. On this side here, the right side, we see, we want to point out with a pen, brothers and sisters, Be'er Sheba, if we will, right? And here we have shown here the land of Dan. So Dan is a land. So now when you go, as well as the tribe. So now when you go with that knowledge, back, brothers and sisters, in Amos chapter 8, verse 14, and it says Dan, Samaria, and Beersheba, is talking about lands. They that swear by the sin of Samaria and say, as that God, old Dan, lives. The idol that Jeroboam put. And what is the way of Beersheba? When you go into reading about what Samuel's sons was doing and taking bribes. So you have people taking bribes in Beersheba. Then you had, brothers and sisters, the idol that was placed in the land of Dan. And then you had the sin of Samaria, where they sat there, was making the idols that ancient Israel was worshiping. Israel fell doing that. Let's move on. The tribe of Dan is described by Jacob in Genesis 49 as having a horned serpent that bites the horse of heel, so the rider falleth backward. The meaning of that is that would be where you think you are getting over on Dan, you are not. And here is when the book speaks. Malachi 3:6, we read, I am Yah, I change not, and the sons of Jacob are not consumed. If I can be heard well, and people in good spirits, let's change it up. Type me the number 5, please. If I can be heard well, and people in good spirits, type in the number 5, because we're about to read and show scripturally, one, there's no chart that is needed. I don't know why camps insist on doing that. No offense to camps. Secondly, because it says in Jeremiah, it says in Jeremiah, he who scattered Israel will gather Israel. So what is the point in you having a chart when the Most High, who did the scattering of Israel, is going to be the one to gather Israel? We already told what to do in the land of our captivity already. So thank you for typing in, brothers and sisters, the number 5. Dan is one of the sons of Jacob. So in Malachi 3:6, when it says, I am Yah, I change not, and these sons of Jacob are not consumed. There's no tribe destroyed. Your 12 tribe chart is straight trash. Oh, don't be mean. No, you're being mean against the scriptures showing 12 tribes of Israel without the tribes of Israel. In Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 37, we read, thus says Yah, if the heaven above can be measured, and the foundation of the earth searched out beneath, then will I cast off or the seed of the house of Israel, not spiritual Israel. No, you don't want the spirit of Israel. Israel needs the spirit of righteousness. Jehovah's Witnesses sometimes talk about their spiritual Israel. Again, we don't want the spirit of Israel. We want the spirit of righteousness as the house of Israel. Mora Uriel Malkia earlier went over the matter of what are you supposed to seek? Justice, justice, you shall pursue. Seek justice, relieve the oppressed. That's the spirit you want. The spirit of Israel will cause you to want to leave from the house of Jacob, because Israel needs a new spirit, like it says in Ezekiel 33. So let's continue in this, family. If heaven above can be measured, and the foundation of the earth searched out beneath, then will I cast off all the seed of the house of Israel for all that they have done. Don't you know that's why NASA never runs out of money? Don't you know that's why they dig into the earth? If the heaven above can be measured, you know NASA, NASA, and brothers and sisters, is not from the Hebrew word meaning to deceive. All right, the word to deceive in Hebrew is the word nasha, not nasa, but that's a whole other subject. Getting back into this, if we will. Don't you ever notice NASA never runs out of money? And I don't mean to be funny or disrespectful. When they do Star Wars, who are you fighting in the sky? Who are you fighting? Up in looking like the movie Marooned. Let's continue, family. If heaven above can be measured, and the foundation of the earth searched out, then will I cast off all the seed of the house of Israel. So NASA is not going to go broke. They're going to keep on trying to search out the heavens. They're going to keep on trying to dig into the earth, because the Most High promised, if you're able to search that out, then the house of Israel in seed line, not spiritual Israel, will be destroyed, cast off. What they don't want is the true house of Israel connection with the Most High God. Michael Jackson, may he rest in peace. We know, may he rest in peace, he had some issues. He would be by default an Israelite. Do you know that people didn't respect when Michael Jackson said he got his talent from God? Do you know that theologians matter is not taught in UCLA? Correct me if I'm wrong, on purpose. Why do you ban the Bible in school and no offense intended, have it in prison? Teach the Bible, teach the Tanakh, and that's what we mean by Bible in this platform. And it may prevent people doing things to go to prison. Not that anyone is perfect. We're talking about the people who are guilty, not with the Innocence Project, because man is sloppy locking up the wrong people. By the way, correct me if I'm wrong, ancient Israel did not have prison systems. They didn't make the taxpayers of the house of Israel pay for people to be kept on, quote, death row for 30-something years after they murdered a family. That's insane. You understand? The city of refuge, if you went there and you were truly a murderer, they would take you from the city of refuge in Israelite culture and then put you to death. When you go into the book of Numbers, chapter 33, chapter 34, and so on. Let's continue. In 1 Kings chapter 12, we see, so the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold. And he said to the people, you have gone up to Jerusalem long enough. Here are your gods, O Israel, which brought you out of the land of Egypt. That's where Jeroboam made his big error. And he set up one in Beit El, and the other he put in Dan. Thus we see the God in Dan spoken in Amos, as in Amos 8:14, as the idol that Jeroboam set up. The people went to worship it as far as Dan, as the book says. Beit El was a place in the land of Ephraim. Lastly, Amos 8:14, we read, and as the way of Beersheba liveth. The sons of Samuel lived in Beersheba, and they were known for giving wicked judgment and taking bribes. When you go to 1 Samuel chapter 8. Thus, we see that the prophet Amos was saying, those who swear by the sin of Samaria, 1, the idols that they say, as your, O God, Dan liveth, 2, that the idol that Jeroboam placed there, and that the way Beersheba lives, 3, perverting justice, even they, those who swear by those 3 wicked things, even they shall fall and never rise up again. That's not saying that the tribe of Dan is going to fall and never rise up again. Hopefully it's understood. We pointed out here that Dan is the land that we see on the map, and Joshua 19 speaks on such, if you will. Let's look at this, family. Eldad the Danite. In this particular case, get this book from Babylon and Timbuktu. According to Eldad the Danite, mentioned in the book from Babylon and Timbuktu, dated to the 9th century AD, he spoke of the tribes of Israel migrating to places in what is now the African continent. In this book here, Sipur, or the story or tell of Eldad Hadani, of Eldad the Danite. I remember my mother, may she rest in peace, saying that Danites are storytellers. Come to find out, yes. Looking at it in this, he stated that the tribes of Issachar, Zebulun, Gad, and Dan, Simeon, Judah, Manasseh, and if I mentioned Issachar before, my bad for mentioning it now again, wind up going, as well as the tribe of Simeon, into the land of Israel, from the land of Israel into the African continent. And you can look up his information online and the claim that he made. Israelites cite the book, The 13th Tribe, by Arthur Koestler. Arthur Koestler, in his book, The 13th Tribe, mentioned the book by Eldad the Danite, essentially trying to dismiss it. But while Arthur Koestler, who wrote The 13th Tribe, speaks about how the Jewish people are not from the Jordan, but from the Volga, and are not from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but are the Caucasus sons of Japhet, not from the line of Shem, but are Ashkenaz, which come from Japhet. Thus you see Ashkenazi Jew, you're a German Jew, that's who you are. Netanyahu, you're not from the 12 tribes of Israel. The Arthur Koestler does not state who the tribes of Israel are. The Most High is going to be the one to open up the eyes. So we ask you to get this book, brothers and sisters, and we hope and pray that everybody is well and will be better. We're going to, with the timing allotted, get into more music. Look into the comments. Thank you for joining on with us. What you see there in those words was shout out to the Mishpaka drummers that you see performing there. Without them, I wouldn't been influenced and motivated to teach. I listen to that kind of music when I'm putting a PowerPoint together. So I wanted to give them on a human level a shout out and showing the kind of work that video dates over 20 years ago when you get right down into it. It was done at a place called Crafts Mansion. You can look up the Mishpaka drummers. They perform or they play music at the congregation DCB. You can go to DCB on YouTube. You can go to Mishpaka drummers on YouTube and see more music in that particular case. Sidebar, playing drums is not wicked, as some Israelites have stated. It was not and is not. I've been in camps. I've seen babies. I've been to circumcisions. When they're playing drums, it is not to drown out the sound of the baby as a baby is being offered to Molech or Moloch, as some people have stated. That is not what goes on when Israelites are playing drums. I've been there holding babies as they play the drums. I promise you, Israelites playing a bass drum is not to sound out the cry of the baby in Israelite congregations being sacrificed to an idol. That's not what's going on. Thank you for that.
Shema Yisrael, the whole Yisrael all over the world. This is how we do it. Bring it on, Zakar. What?
In my life, I felt the love of God was deep in me. It was deep in me, yeah. He was near, so very close to me. I did not see. But why should I turn away from him when he's my love? Oh, he took me from the ghetto and spoke to me from up above. Oh, yeah, I sold my soul for love. My love is only God. My love for God. My love for God. He is mine. Yahweh, you are mine. My love will only shine for you. Every time I turned away from him, he chastised me. Chastised me. Oh, yeah. He said, look, as I call, won't you do what's right and follow me? And things look good, and my life is fine. So why should I cheat? He said the earth will be yours, and the fullness thereof shall be thine. Ooh, yeah. I sold my soul for love. My love is only God. Woo. He is mine. Yahweh, you are mine. Yes, you are. My love will only shine for you. I love you unconditionally. Can't you see? You're the savior of the world, but to me, you're my IV. Oh yeah, my soul is yours. My love is yours forever. I said with my heart, I will follow you forever. Ooh, yeah. I sold my soul for love. My love is only God. Woo. He is mine. Yahweh, you are mine. My love will only shine for you. Love will only shine for you. I've been seen up in my hand.
Mama, I found you.
sing a prayer to you every night, hoping that you hear my cry. And you make sure that I'm alright. Forgive me for my sins and all the things I've done. Set me free, wipe me clean for the time to come. In my life, all I knew was you. I turned 13, then I forgot about you. You never let me down. You stayed right there till I came around. Forgive me for my sins and all the things I've done. Set me free, wipe me clean for the time to come. Most High, you're my God, yeah, and I will do or die. Never ever let you go, no, and that's word to my right eye. Give me for my sins and all the things I've done. Set me free, wipe me clean for the time to come. I open up my mouth to you. I sing a prayer to you every night, hoping that you hear my cry. And you make sure that I'm alright. Forgive me for my sins and all the things I've done. Set me free, wipe me clean for the time to come. In my life, all I knew was you. I turned 13, then I forgot about you. You never let me down. You stayed right there till I came around. Forgive me for my sins and all the things I've done. Set me free, wipe me clean for the time to come. Most High, you're my God, yeah, and I will do or die. I never ever let you go, no, and that's word to my right eye. Forgive me for my sins and all the things I've done. Set me free, wipe me clean for the time to come. Yeah, yeah, and I will do or die. Chill, oh yeah, that's word to my right eye. Forgive me for my sins and all the things I've done. Yeah, set me free, wipe me clean, wipe me clean.
Yeah.
Can you see the fire
Exclusive
in my
joint.
eyes? Can you feel it burning
On
in
that
my
Shema
soul?
Yisrael Volume
That
3.
we've been going through from the
Hear you
time
in the head when
past
you
we
flavor,
got
y'all.
so
Worldwide.
things that make
Check
me
it
wanna
out.
cry. The things
Seven
that make me
seas,
wanna
seven
die.
lands.
Stretch my
Zakar and
arms out to
Sharia.
you. I pray to
Yeah.
thee again, Most High.
Israel, hear me. We all we have. Israel, hear me. We all we have.
We all we have. We all we have. Yeah. Save my people, Israel. Please save our people, Israel. Most High, we need you so. We need you so. Ha'eliel. Ha'barak. Amen. Abi-Eli. Please save me. Please save me.
Israel, hear me. We all we have.
We all we have. Yeah.
Israel, hear me.
Hear me.
We all we have.
We all we have. Oh, save my people, Israel. Please save Israel. Most High, we need you so. We need you so. Ha'eliel. Ha'barak. Amen. Abi-Eli. Please save me. Please save me. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh. This here day, God. It's a fire, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Father. It's a fire, yeah.
Giving thanks to your home.
It's all about you.
You let us know that we are Israelites. And I can see over and over how we molded and guided our life. Giving thanks never knew that he loved us so much. Moshe was a great and mighty prophet. He set the standards for the prophet to come. A godly man, a strong and humble leader. His place and time can never be undone. Oh, give thanks, thanks to your.
I said it's all about you.
He let us know that we are Israelites, and I can see over and over how he molded and guided our life. Give thanks, thanks to your hope, 'cause we can never thank thee enough. I can believe that we got the children. I never knew that he loved us so much. So we will praise you, Jehovah, 'cause there is none that is like unto thee. So you're the one who made our lives bolder. You're the one who gave us life and the lasting legacy. And oh, give it thanks, thanks to Jehovah. He let us know that we are Israelites, and I can see over and over how he molded and guided our life. Give it thanks, thanks to you. 'Cause we can never thank you enough. I can believe that we are his children. I never knew that he loved us so much. Moshe was a great and mighty prophet. He set the standard for the prophet to come. A godly man, a strong humble leader. His place and time can never be undone. Oh, give it thanks, thanks to your hope.
All about you.
You let us know that we are Israelites, and I can see over and over how you molded and guided our life. Give thanks, thanks to your hope, 'cause we can never thank you enough. I can believe that we are his children. I never knew that he loved us so much. So we will praise you, Jehovah, 'cause there is none that is like unto thee. So you're the one who made our lives bolder. You're the one who gave us life and the lasting legacy. Oh,
I said it,
give it thanks, thanks to your
I
hope.
said it's all about you.
You let us know that we are Israelites, and I can see over and over how you molded and guided our life. Give it thanks, thanks to your hope, 'cause we can never thank you enough. I can believe that we got this children. I never knew that he loved us so much. Give it thanks,
Oh yeah,
give it thanks,
I thank you enough.
give it thanks,
Father, I pray to thee.
give it thanks,
Father, I cry to thee.
give it thanks,
Jehovah, thank you, Jehovah.
give it thanks,
Jehovah, thank you, Jehovah.
give it thanks,
Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom, shalom, family. How's everybody? Hopefully, everybody is well. And we're going to close out in this particular case. It's 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have not trying to be funny, an early morning and things to do and so forth. Thankful for the job that I have to where they're not pressuring me to even work on quote unquote Saturday night to get certain things like this accomplished. Nonetheless, so-called Sunday, a brother is busy and definitely want to sit there and end off in this particular case here. The matter of the Israelites, the Egyptians, the Exodus, Hebrew, Metuneta, which is the Egyptian hieroglyphic culture, writing, history, and archaeology. We are going to wanting to get into this. And there's a presentation that's done or was done January 25th for those who are interested. But we're going to do a part 2 to that. So we're asking you all to comment, like, share, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned. All right, just using this old flyer, but for something in the future. Thank you, family. Have an excellent night. My number's across the screen for those who are interested. Shalom.